I don't even know how to start this video. This is gonna be really, really sketchy, but there's this building that I want to address that stands out among basically all of the other smaller structures that we can see in Extinction. You can see these right here. These are buildings. These are skyscrapers, you know, this and that. Lots of cool, fancy human stuff. Then there's this gigantic building that looks like a specimen implant. A lot of people, the majority of people, have been commenting saying that this building right here that is revealed, that's the actual staple of our view when this shield comes down. It looks like a specimen implant, and I think there's a reason behind that. I think there's a reason why this building is shown in that light. Now, the thing about it is we don't know much about the specimen implant. There hasn't been much released anywhere about this thing. It's kind of just the thing we use to interact with alien technology. It's like a key. It's like it makes us compatible with alien technology so we can use their obelisks and just do things. It's also apparent that they are linked to the obelisks, but there's a problem with this. You guys know, once we land here, the obelisk powers down. The shield goes down, and it reveals this right here. Does that mean that we are no longer compatible with alien technology? Because to my understanding on the wiki, I think we do need the obelisks powered up. They need to be active in order for our implants to actually work. Unless, once we ascend it again, the implant changes in some way, shape, or form. Also, the damage here is catastrophic. It is just incredibly intense damage. And another thing I want to point out are these giant walls that seem to be here. Like, there's these are giant walls. That's the only way I can put this. These are giant walls that were around the city at some point. Why there are giant walls, I have no idea. And then right here, I'm assuming, just like in most other games that have some kind of alien hierarchy, well, you would have these where I guess the leaders would be. Now, I mean, from my point of view, I can see all kinds of damage here, but in the background, we see the walls are still intact up here. They don't look like they're damaged. It doesn't look like there's anything up here. So there's something going on up there that we don't really know about. Now I want to move into the specimen implant for a second, and then we're going to move into a couple of other things with information that I have. So the specimen implant is something that we really take for granted on ARK, even though it is the primary reason we can do the majority of what we're able to do. It changes shape whenever you ascend, depending on how strong of an ascension it is. And then, well, red is obviously the strongest form of ascension. Now you can see the resemblance in this between this and the building itself. And you could, I mean, in my mind, it does look like a implant to some degree. Not entirely, but it definitely has that same implant shape, which I don't think is a coincidence, seeing as it looks like it's some kind of alien technology. Now, if you move into it, the specimen implant is a strange, unique device implanted in the left arm of every survivor. Every single survivor since ever has had one of these. People that find themselves surrounded on ARK have this. The implant is observed immediately after creating a new survivor or respawning as an existing one. They regain consciousness, and I don't know if it's because of this implant or you just wake up, but it's also apparent that not only does this thing let you build and interact with alien technology, it some way, shape, or form allows you to live. I don't know if it's some kind of sequencing for your gene code or how it works for you being a replication, a clone of every other human on the island. There's unique traits, obviously, with everyone being clones. We all have our own unique traits and stuff. But ultimately, everyone that comes onto the island or Scorched Earth or anywhere is just a clone of someone from the past. In addition to being fixed to your character's arm, it also occupies the first slot in your survivor's inventory. The reason behind that, I guess, is just because Wildcard wants to show you. I don't think there's anything too fancy about that. The active implant belonging to a living survivor cannot be dropped. You can't rip this thing out of your arm. However, implants appear to deactivate upon the death of their host, and then can be removed from a dead survivor's corpse. A survivor can reconnect their own implant after respawning along the lines or along with the rest of their items. So that's something that's a little bit different, because you can regain that implant and you can reactivate it, I assume, or quote-unquote reactivate it per lore, even though it doesn't seem like that's a thing that happens in game. It seems like you spawn with a new one in game and you take all your stuff, but no, you basically get to reactivate it from what I understand in the lore, provided they make it back in time. This will result in possessing 2 implants, 1 active and 1 inactive, as your survivor will respawn with a brand new implant each time they are killed. I think this implant has something to do with the gene sequencing or the cloning of you. And then this building is right at the center, what seems to be the destruction that looks like an implant. I feel like it's actually, a friend of mine, Nick, said that they feel like it is either a control center, a power source, or it could be a gate that leads to the city in the background that we see. Now, the uses and more lore-bound stuff with the implant. Though little is currently known about the true nature of the device, it quickly becomes clear that the device is essential for daily survival on the ARK. The implant is involved in a variety of everyday activities for survivors, including accessing the inventory, crafting, leveling, and unlocking engrams. It is also involved in interaction with other alien structures and technology found throughout the ARK, such as obelisks. And I mean, to me, it is alien technology, 100%. We don't know what these giant structures are, but there is a small chance that the Homo Deus, if that's how you say it, are the ones that created these towers that we have to interact with. All of the actions appear to use your implant automatically, and as such, the inventory items representing your implant has no known use and appears to be cosmetics. The only other reason for being able to take one that's inactive is probably for bragging rights, or I guess some kind of trophy, or like Predator chopping off an alien's head or something. I don't know. Just something like that. Now, the notes on this are what are probably the most important thing. The specimen implant may be directly related to the 3 obelisks. The same symbol is on them, so players may be using the power of the obelisk to access inventory and more. Once a player has completed Ascension, their implant displays the bosses that have been defeated. There is currently a naming inconsistency between in-game items and achievements, yada yada. It's not a big thing. The implant on your character's arm in-game shows a red implant for gamma, yada yada. This is just a bug, basically. It's not a big deal. Now, I do feel like making a video like this is a huge risk, because I could be entirely wrong and look like a fool to the entire community as far as I'm concerned. But at the same time, I'm just looking for answers, and I know full and well I'm not the smartest guy on the planet, and I won't unlock this entire mystery on my own, which is why I'm making the video in the first place, for help. I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section below of this entire freaking thing, because I cannot figure it out on my own. I don't know enough about the ARK lore. I know a considerable amount when it comes to the important details for Extinction, but I do not know enough to say, hey, definitively this is what this is, because yada yada yada, unless it's very obvious, of course. Now, I want to make reference to this crater on the planet. I have a feeling that this has something to do to play into everything. I feel like this city that we're seeing might be staged somewhere around this, possibly. Or maybe it's somewhere we travel to. Or it's on the edge of this and it is scorched. I have a feeling that when you look at 90% of this planet, you still see a lot of water moving up north a little bit. And things seem to look a little bit more normal. At least I feel like that looks like water. Yeah, there's still water around. The planet has significant changes. It seems like a lot of the water has dried up. But ultimately, I feel like the planet should still be habitable, maybe, unless there's some kind of foreign power or something that we just don't know about, like nuclear something. I think the biggest issue we have is the fact that this obelisk deactivates. I feel like that is the biggest problem that we may have. I don't know, maybe the obelisk was made as a protection tool for us, so we wouldn't die. I mean, realistically, if they didn't want to save us, whoever put us in or implanted us with the implant wouldn't have put obelisk. Like, there's no point for it. There's no point to make it so we can keep on reliving over and over and not have to fear death that much. There's no point in giving us access to technology far beyond our understanding and increasing our chances of survival. If they want us dead, well, they could very well do that. That's it. Oh, I want to point out a little Easter egg, by the way. The island map is actually underneath the extinction zone, which is kind of weird. And then under this, there's another map, which is kind of weird. Now, this one is kind of confusing to me. because I don't understand the whole layout of this one. I don't know if this is a little Easter egg they put in here. They just throw this under here for us or not. But I don't recognize this map as anything really. I don't know if that's a unique map, maybe, or what it could be. Could be entirely wrong, but I wouldn't put it past Wildcard to put an Easter egg like this in here somewhere. You guys let me know what you think that map is, because I have no idea. I have literally no idea, unless there's no reason at all to have it there except for the water that we see down here for the glow effect. Now, I want to address a situation we have in the community as well, or at least what a lot of people have been commenting on my videos and stuff. Apparently, people think Extinction is not the final DLC. They think that there is more to it. And while I really seriously hope the case is there is more, unfortunately, we have confirmation that there is no DLC after Extinction. And this was actually answered in one of the ARK digests. So the people out there that are saying, oh no, there's going to be another expansion, there's too much money in ARK, this and that, here's your proof right here. And I'm not saying that to be condescending. I'm not trying to be an ass about it. This is just the proof. This is what it is. The story continues in Aberration and reaches a climax at the third DLC, where all is revealed in an epic conclusion. Each expansion introduces new characters and raises the stakes while continuing the story of the character who has survived previous arcs. They might not make it around out alive from subsequent arcs, though. I guess ultimately, technically, story DLCs that are huge major things like Extinction and Aberration, for instance, the Scorched Earth, I guess it's the end of that. We find out the story. We find out what happened, why we're like this, why we have the implants. We find out everything. They're going to tell us everything, and it's going to be like getting to the end of a book. You're going to kind of feel like you have nothing to do in your life, and you're going to be depressed for a couple hours and wonder what you can do because that occupied all your time. And then you're going to move on. Now, as far as DLCs, I mean, maybe they will continue making dinosaurs and doing upgrades to the systems and stuff, but storyline DLC, unfortunately, comes to a screeching halt, which kind of sucks because I really like the storyline and I wish so badly I had paid attention to the story sooner. I regret so much for not following the storyline sooner. Sucks, but that's all I can do at this point. Now, I'd also like to address an issue of people believing that humans on ARK are not cloned. People are saying, hey, we're not clones. We are just recreated and we get lucky when we find that loot in lore, but the player itself just knows where it is. Well, no, you are clones. There is proof of you being a clone every single time. And, well, unfortunately, here it is right here. So in note number 18 of Aberration, ever since I saw those strange holograms on the island's control center, I'd considered this possibility in the back of my mind, but I wasn't prepared to confront it. Not directly. The room was similar to the ones with the creatures, if much smaller. Specimen tubes lined the walls in neat rows and columns, but all these held the same species. Homo sapiens, which I don't remember seeing this room. I think this is just a lore thing. I don't think you get to see this possibly. Maybe you do. If you do, let me know in the comment section. I will go back and I will check that out. They weren't clones exactly, not of each other at least. And they were all adults, which I referenced in the beginning of this video, that we are all clones, but we have our own unique traits and characteristics. Kind of like we have little minor changes in our DNA to make us all a little bit more of an individual and less of a direct clone. I suppose I came from somewhere like this too, designed in a control center and then created in this factory. Does that mean my memories, they're all transplanted? Fake? No, impossible. They're too vivid, too detailed. Maybe somehow the station can reach back in time and just copy someone, which could be a possibility as well, because we do retain all of our memories, and I don't know of a situation where that is likely. That seems unlikely, but I'll cling to it. It makes me feel more real, at least that way. Someone actually lived my life, even if it wasn't me. And then note number 22, I tried sketching some of the wildlife we've spotted back on the way to the village, but stopped halfway through. What's the point in the desert? I told myself it was a form of self-expression, but was it really? If a machine created me to behave a certain way, am I expressing myself or the will of the machine? I really need that pinned maybe several, and then, or point maybe seven, and then that's basically her wanting to drink. She's an alcoholic. How dare you? Helena, however you say your name. You disgusting. No, I'm just kidding. Drinking's not bad. Don't drink if you're underage, though. Anyways, moving on. Another one from Helena, note number 23 in Aberration. I'm starting to come to terms with everything in myself, even if my memories are somewhere else or someone else's and they aren't real to begin with. You get the idea, okay? You get the idea. She is ultimately coming to terms with the fact that her memories might not be her own, which that's horrible. That would be a horrible existence, in my opinion, if that's how you live on the Ark. That's like your memories might not be your own. You remember your mom and your dad, but maybe they weren't your mom and your dad, so therefore no one really loved you, or you feel like no one really that is soul-crushing stuff. I'm not getting into that because it's going to depress me. It might depress you too, and YouTube might see me causing depression as the amount of yeah. Anyways, so as far as the I gotta include a spoiler here. What the hell? What are you doing here? Poor guy, you are literally stuck up there for the entirety of your life. Have fun jumping down and breaking your ankles, damn. But I want to point something else here too. There was a little fact, I think I overlooked this entirely, but apparently Diana was in love with May, and then she got killed by Rockwell, which makes it even worse and more heartbreaking for May when she flew into the rage and chased after him. So apparently that was a thing that I completely missed. Now, spoiler warnings, guys. Don't want to spoil it for you, but in the last video, we believed that the Beast Queen, which is May, she is called the Beast Queen, is the final boss of Extinction. Now, we hear that roar at the end in that area, and I think it's plausible that we're going to that zone where we had gone in the reveal for Extinction. I feel like that could be a thing. However, at the same time, the hell is that roar? That's not a human roar. That's not May. If that's May, I feel like May did something bad. And she's definitely seen better days. I don't know. I feel like I've raised more questions than answers, but I feel like I have answered some things too as well. I want to know from you guys again. We're going to get to the bottom of this. I would love to figure this out before the actual DLC comes out, but the odds of that are very slim because of the information that we have. And guys, let me know what you think about the Extinction DLC. I want to know what you think that building is ultimately. I feel like that building is the key. I feel like that building is the key to everything that we've been working so hard to try and figure out, and I think there's more to it. I haven't seen anyone really addressing it either, which it's kind of disheartening on my end because I think there's so much of the theory that is inside this building. I just feel like we need to figure out what it is or come to some kind of mutual conclusion. But guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section, and I will see you in the next video.